Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at Tyrant's Isle. Kind of walkthrough, not a full one because it's very straightforward. I'm just going to be talking about the 3 bosses and a small little problem within this actual dungeon, which I struggled with dramatically before I realized that you can double jump in your glide mechanics. But I'm giving away some loot, as you can see on screen. So hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave me a comment down below telling me if you are going on to Tyrant's Isle. What are you looking for? I know a lot of people are looking for the staff, but let me know down below. So when you get in here, basically you're just going to run to the center of the area where there's some water and you're going to fight a boss. There is a flower sitting here. You've seen these flowers on Sorodoma Island. These flowers are like called luminescent something. These are going to be used to make the boss reappear, because this boss is pretty much just a tank and spank and hit and destroy, but eventually if you don't kill him quick enough he will go invisible. Everyone then needs to run to one of those flowers and press it, and when I mean by everyone I mean everyone, because if you are just doing it on your own, the rate of time it takes to get to the top and activate is so long. The more people there touching the flower, the faster it will go, the faster he will reappear from being invisible. And that is the main mechanic here. The only other tips I would say is try to confine him to the center of the little island where the flower is, because there are a lot of little enemies around and sometimes they aggro onto people and it just becomes more of a difficult fight than it needs to be. So it's very easy. You just run into the center where the island is with the flower. You tank him there, you kill him as fast as you can. If you can't get him down before he goes invisible, everyone jumps on the flower, makes him reappear, finish him off. Once you've killed him, you'll get a key. This key will open up one of the 2 doors from where this boss is. There's a left one and a right one. All you have to do is look on your minimap and see where the door has appeared and go that way. You'll fight slightly different enemies. It'll be a slightly different route, but eventually you'll end up just getting back to the point where you go towards the second boss. So the second boss is guarding a gate that you need to open, and it's a fairly straightforward boss, except it does have one very powerful move that you need to look out for. So it's just your typical get in there, get stuck in, tank and spank all the way through the fight. However, every now and again it will jump back to its central point where it spawned or where it is standing as you get towards there, and it will do a move that will create a red wave from behind the boss going through the center area where you are all standing. All you need to do is jump over the red wave so it does not damage you. It is really that simple. I think the boss has a few other mechanics, but they're so inconsequential that, you know, it's just not even worth talking about, or they're so simple to do that, you know, you just figure it out as you're doing it. So the third boss is in a room further down, and before you get to the boss, you'll have to open some cages and stuff to release some prisoners. There's only 2 of them. Very easy to see, very easy to do. You want to take everyone that follows you and aggroes you over and up towards the second cage. Kill them all before engaging the boss, because this boss can be a bit of trouble if you're not really aware of the mechanics or you're too busy having to fight other people. This boss will spawn and there's 4 totems around the inner circle. You need to use these totems to your advantage. This boss does a lot of damage with one of his charge attacks. So while you are doing damage to the boss and you're killing him, typically like you do with any other boss, you may have to fight a few other enemies here because they kind of get aggroed very easily. This boss will light up someone randomly with like an orangey red flame. This means he is about to charge that person. You need for that person to hide behind the pillars so he charges into the pillar and stuns himself. It will do this 4 times to random people, so you could get it multiple times in a row. You just need to run around all of the pillars. Everyone should be fairly close to those pillars. If they're off somewhere else, you're just going to ruin the fight. The boss is going to go off and chase someone who's well off track. But essentially all this boss is making sure you kite him into the pillars. So he's going to charge, bounce off the pillars, get stunned. Then he's going to immediately do it to another person, then another person, then another person. After all 4 pillars have been taken down, it will be a while before he does this move again, and the pillars will be back, I think, if I remember rightly. We killed him so quick that it was a blur. But essentially the only main mechanic here is to make sure he charges into the totem pillars. When you're lit up in orange, hide behind it. Now, after you kill this boss, it's probably arguably the hardest part of the dungeon. You're going to run over to the other side of this arena and there will be a geyser on the floor. This geyser is going to shoot you up into the air. At the very peak of your jump, you're going to turn into your glide and you're going to aim towards the like rickety wooden bridge. If you don't do a second jump, which I didn't even know you could do on a glide mechanic, you will miss every single time. So you need to hit the peak of your jump, go for a little glide. As you are gliding down, press the jump button so you go up again, and then you'll land on this bridge and continue forward. Now onto the final boss. This boss is a bit of a pain. I found him to be very buggy and very glitchy, and you'll die to things that you shouldn't really dive to. However, there is a simple mechanic here. As you walk up to the bosses in like side a brazier totem, there are several pools of water around, but notably there are blue flowers around on the floor. Every single person of your team needs to pick one of these flowers and stand by them, and then always go to your flower. If you go and steal someone else's flower, you are going to kill them. It's as simple as that. What will happen is this boss will just do damage, you'll tank him and stuff and all that, and then he'll suck everyone into him and turn you all into rats. You then want to run towards your flower, but not all the way. You want to press your further left ability skill and you will burrow underground. This then will allow the boss to do a big shockwave move, and then you need to press it again to pop up out of the floor, and you need to run to your flower. If you don't get to your flower in time, he will eat you and you will be dead and out of the fight. This mechanic can be a little bit glitchy because sometimes even though you burrow, you know, the game doesn't register it properly and you get hit by the shockwave. Sometimes you just don't even turn back to normal when you run through your flower. It's just a whole heap of mess, but the mechanic is simple. After you get sucked in, run towards your flower, burrow down on the ground, pop back up, run to your flower, turn back into a human. And that's about it. Then his next mechanic, he will rain meteors down from above. You'll hear a little voice line and you'll see them start to hit the floor. You just need to keep moving, keep running and getting out the way of them because of the simple fact that they do a hell of a lot of damage. You need to constantly be moving so that the meteors will go and hit the floor and not kill anyone close by to you. If you're running around, you want to be away from other people. A little ways into the fight, he will spawn 2 of the geysers, the pools of water that I was telling you about. 2 of them will start to bubble and have some steam on. It's very difficult to see, whichever ones are bubbling. You need to run to them and get into the pool of water. If you do not, you will die. This geyser will basically shoot you up in the air to avoid one of his shockwave attacks. You need to glide and come back down. If you don't glide, you're just going to hit the floor and die. And then it's just rinse and repeat, killing the boss. The great thing about this boss is if you do the mechanics correctly, you never have to die. 1 person or 2 people can finish this boss on their own. You wouldn't like them to, but essentially it can be done as long as that person keeps on top of the mechanics and doesn't get hit by too many things. This boss is frustrating, it feels glitchy and buggy, but this is how you beat him. So that is the video done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped. Thank you for watching. I've been Easy Now. You guys have been awesome.